Go to 64 here. Today I'll show you a little tip for the game Screeps, demonstrating how you can make your resource gathering more efficient by using containers. So I've been running this colony for a little while, and so far the scripts that I'm using are very similar to the scripts that you find in the tutorial for the game. So I have some upgrader creeps here, which will be harvesting from the energy node, then going up to the core, upgrading that back and forth all the time. I also have some fixers that are also harvesting from the nodes and then going out to fix items that need repair. And I have a harvester which is also mining from the energy node and then going to the spawn to recharge the spawn with energy. So this is not particularly efficient because all of them need to go and mine, so they all need a work unit to be able to mine. And it also gets pretty crowded here around the energy nodes. Sometimes there's not room for everyone that wants to mine. So what we can do to optimize this is to build a container. And I already built one here, which you can't see right now because there's a creep on top. But we do have a container here right next to the energy node. So what we want is to create a miner creep which will sit here on top of the container and constantly mine from the energy node and just drop what it mines into the container. And then our other creeps, like the upgraders here, can just go and pick up energy from the container instead of having to mine on their own. So first we need to create a script for the miner creep. So I'll create a new module called role.miner. And I prepared the code in advance so you don't have to watch me typing. But let's have a look at what it does. So first it looks for all the structures that have the type container and where the storage capacity exceeds the amount of energy stored, so there's room in the container for more energy. This logic only works as long as you're only storing energy in containers. So you need to change this if you want to store other items in the same container. Then it basically goes to that container if it's not on the container. So it checks if the range to the container is 0. If it is, then it will harvest from the nearest energy node. So if it sits here on top of the container, it will harvest from here. And if it's not on top of the container, then it will move towards the container. So that's basically all what the miner script does. So let's incorporate it in the main script. So now we have included the miner script in the main script. And then we just need to execute it. So if we have a miner, we want it to run the miner script. So now I just need to actually spawn a miner. So I'll add that to my spawner script here. So I want to always have one miner active. And since we want it to mine a lot, we'll create 4 work units on it. And it doesn't need to move much, so a single move unit should be enough. Since the spawn was low on energy, it took a while before the miner would actually spawn, but now the miner is finally spawning. So here's our miner, and now we should see the miner moving over to the container and start mining. So now the miner is on top of the container and it's mining from the energy node. And because we didn't put any carry part on the miner, it's not able to store any of the energy it mines. So it simply drops the energy into the container. So if we look at the container, we can see that it's filling up pretty quickly because we have the 4 work units that are mining constantly. So now we can change our upgraders. So instead of the upgraders going to mine on their own, they will simply go and pick up from the container. So in the current upgrader script, we have the mining code here. So it will look for energy sources and then move to them and harvest. So we don't want that to happen anymore. So we need to change this piece of code. And again, I prepared a bit in advance. So what this code is saying is that, again, we look for the structures that are of the type container. And now we want the containers that contain more than 0 energy. And then it will pick the closest of these containers. And it will try to withdraw energy from the container. And if it's not in range, it will move towards the container. So now we just need to wait for one of the upgraders to run out of energy. So now this upgrader creep is out of energy and it's moving towards the container here. And now we can see that in a single game tick, it actually picked up 100 energy and can then immediately move back towards the core to continue upgrading. So having one very efficient miner creep mining all the time with, for instance, 4 work units, and then having other creeps focusing on doing other tasks will make your colony more efficient. I hope this has been helpful. Thank you for watching.